Our jargon for today is reinforcer. Okay. This is a term that we use all the time on the show. It's so funny to me that before my son was diagnosed with autism, this is a term that we use in life, right? Something is reinforced by something else. But usually we're talking about construction. I don't know, maybe that was just my world. And then all of a sudden everybody was talking about, well, is this a reinforcer? Is that a reinforcer? What are the things that reinforce your child? What's reinforcing you? And it annoyed me to no end. But I'll tell you something. Once you figure out what this is and what it means to you and what it means to the loved one that you're working with, ooh, man, is this something that you can harness, and it's energy right there, something you can touch. So let's take a look at what a reinforcer is. We'll go to our actual definition, and you know I love these actual definitions, and this is a good one to make fun of. A reinforcer is a stimulus/event delivered contingent on the exhibition of a behavior, which increases the probability of that behavior continuing to occur or occurring more often in the future. For example, if the child enjoys being tickled, tickles may be used as a potential reinforcer for correct responding or appropriate behavior. Right? And this is why we do jargon of the day. Because if you have no idea what it looks like for, and you read this, you go, huh? What? A stimulus/event? What does that look like? Okay, so let's go on to our working definition so that we can try to put this in some terms that we can better understand. A reinforcer is something that acts as a reward for your child or for any individual and motivates him or her to continue engaging in a particular behavior, good or bad. Okay, so, here you are, and you are working really hard today, and all throughout the day as you're working hard, you're thinking, oh man, I can't wait to go home and kick off my shoes, and I'm going to, I have DVR'd my favorite program, I'm going to kick off my shoes, and I'm going to get to watch that program. So that's your reinforcer. It's helping you to get through your entire day because you're going to reward yourself. If I do X, Y, and Z and I finish my day out and I get home, I'm going to get to have that. It's a reinforcer. It's the end. And if you know that you're going to get that on a regular basis, that if you go to work, you get to come home and watch the program that you want to watch, then you're more likely to do whatever the thing was before, in this case, going to work. The same is true of everyone. We all have things that reinforce us, that help us to keep doing something. And when we don't continue to do something that we know we should, it's because there wasn't enough reinforcement. People, and there's all different kinds of reinforcement, right? And different things reinforce different people. So for another person, they go to work every day and they work their job because they know they're going to get their paycheck. And their paycheck is the thing that is reinforcing that behavior. Now, is a paycheck reinforcing? Yes, for most people, but there are some people that it's not reinforcing enough for them to go to a job. And it doesn't matter how big of the paycheck is, it might be that they need praise. So the thing that I want us all to remember is that reinforcement is very personal. Very personal. I always like to use the example of Angry Birds because I just don't like Angry Birds. I just don't. It's not my thing. It feels like work to me. And my son and my husband were really into it for a while, and they'd go, oh, I just can't get past this level, and can you help me? And, and I would look at it and go, oh, this is work. Why would you spend time on this? I just don't enjoy it. But I'll happily sit and play Sudoku and while away an hour playing Sudoku. And I know people who are like, are you doing math? What is wrong with you? So it's very, very personal what reinforces us. And it's very personal to individuals who are on the spectrum what reinforces them. So we need to have this idea in our head that something will reinforce them. We have to figure out what it is, and then we have to give them a reinforcer for doing things that we want to see more of. But the main thing that I want you to remember for just just a minute is that don't assume that you know what the reinforcer is. Especially with our little kids, they have something called a preference assessment, more jargon, where they check to see what are they more drawn to. And it's so important that we do those things and we do them on an often enough. Like you might think to yourself, I know my son loves video games. He loves video games. And so I tend to offer that up as a reinforcer a lot. But you know what? I got to check in every once in a while because there are times when I don't, and I'll say, well, you know what? If you do X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to give you time to play a video game. And he'll go, no, I'm not. No, thanks anyway. No, I'm not doing it. And I think, ooh, okay, that's not reinforcing enough. And then because my son has progressed enough, I can now say to him, all right, what do you want to work for then? What is it that would make it worthwhile for you to do this thing that's really, that book report that you really don't want to do? What would make it worth your while to get an A on that? And then he'll tell me. And by the way, sometimes we'll say, oh, well, this is what would reinforce me, when in fact it isn't. There have been all kinds of studies done on the fact that people say, I need to make more money, but frequently employers find that people want more flexibility or they want time off, and that is actually more reinforcing to them, meaning it causes them to do the behavior that the employer wants to see than getting a paycheck. Interesting, right? So don't assume that you know what a reinforcer is, but you are constantly looking for what is enough reinforcement to make this behavior happen. I talk about it all the time on the show that behaviors that happen over and over and over again have some sort of reinforcement happening for them. And if we want to create a behavior that's happening over and over and over again, we have to give it meaningful reinforcement.